What is your community? Where did you exactly grow up?
Palestine, Texas. The same hometown as Adrian Peterson. He got
Okay.
drafted to the Vikings. So
Yeah.
a small town in East Texas.
Okay. Okay.
Can you like explain that, like exactly like where it is, like what's the demographic, what's the like if for people who do not know
Yeah.
where that is?
So the demographic, I would say this here, it's a mixed crowd, but it's more of a struggle town more than anything. You know, believe it or not, just to be young and see the next when you wake up in the morning, you walk out the door, your next door neighbor, they smoking, they drinking, they've been partying since the night before. I grew up in a project. I lived in every hood in Palestine. And Session 8, believe it or not, project felt like the mansion back in the days. It's a roof over your head, and long as you have your family with you, you're okay. That's you become used to that. So it wasn't that many opportunities where I'm from. If you didn't make it out in sports, you working at the prison as a correction officer, or you
Oh
working at
wow.
Walmart warehouse, or you working in a hotel. So the main objective when you live in Palestine, you live in a small town like Palestine, East Texas, you have to make it out in sports, or you have to make it out in music, or if not, you're gonna be a drug dealer. And it been people who've been selling drugs for the last 30 years because that's all they know. They became a product of their environment. But my saying is excuses only sound best to the person that's making it up. I can give you 1,000 excuses, but I can give you that one why of why you can change.
You're
He's already
inspiring me
giving
now. Yeah,
gems.
I
We're
know.
five
Like,
minutes in, and he's
I
already
know.
Appreciate
giving
it.
like
I know.
I'm
This is
telling you, bro.
crazy.
Like,
Appreciate it.
oh God.
George, growing up in your community, and you said you played sports. You said you're very involved in that. But like,
Exactly.
who are some of your mentors and guides throughout that to keep you away from those situations where you didn't want to be in? Besides your mom and besides your family.
Life itself is the best teacher. So,
Mm.
we didn't have too many people. We didn't have the resources. So if you don't have the resources, you don't have the people. Everybody wake up every day just trying to make it. So the life back then was the best teacher. And if you didn't learn from life, you learn from the next dude that's in the street. You know,
Mm.
but I don't have a victim mentality because a lot of
Mhm.
people use it as like, oh man, I don't know, I'm doing this in life, or I'm not where I want to be in life, or I keep making mistakes because I didn't have that person to look up to. Not everybody did. So,
Mhm.
but life is the best teacher. We came into this world knowing right from wrong before we can read the Bible, before we can read the book. When you do something wrong, you feel it in your spirit. So, being a victim don't get you nowhere in life. But having understanding, having discernment will teach you everything you need to know.
Man. All right, so I'm gonna go a little deeper because you
Okay,
said
let's get
that
it.
you grew up in a household with a single mother
Mhm.
with three. You had a sister and a brother, correct?
Yes,
And
that's correct.
you're the youngest.
Correct. Yes.
So the numbers say that
Mhm.
growing up without a father, a lot of times like you're a statistic to be in jail, that you have anger, you have
Exactly.
hate, you're probably gonna.
Exactly.
So growing up without a father, do you think that played a role in why you had that dog mentality, or why things happened in your life the way they did? Or was it someone else who played a father figure role for you that helped you along the way? Was it a coach? Was it someone in the church? Was it someone, in your community that actually helped you? Or was your mom that too? Because people don't give enough credit for single moms or
Exactly.
single dads who have to do both.
Mm,
So can you kind
exactly.
of talk about that as well?
And I also want to shout out to my grandparents, my grandpa, my grandma.
Mm.
They did as
Yeah.
much as they can, but I always tell a lot of people, especially single mom, if a child don't have a father in his life, put that child in sport. That's the best family you can have. It teach that son or that daughter discipline, understanding, family unity, and create some type of consistency in life when it comes to sport. It's fun. You become better. You get to work out. You get to travel. So I believe that being in sports really kept me. And when I say kept me, it kept me focused from not turning to the street and staying level headed and no, want to be the best football player, want to be the best basketball player. But I can say this too, Jewell and Danny. Even though I was great at what I do, I lack discipline when it came to the classroom. Where that you
Mm.
could be so good, you could be so talented. And I teach a lot of these cats because I mentor a lot of athletes, things like that. But like, don't just be great in certain areas. Be great in every aspect, because you never know we need everything, not just one thing. So
Mhm.
I believe me knowing not having the proper grades and things like that kept me from getting that D1 scholarship, or I had to go a different route. And when I went the different route, I still wasn't focused. So I lost everything. So I spent, sometime my younger 20, from 18, 19, 20, 21, my younger year, rebuilding me, remolding me, and finding who I am. But now I'm in a point of my life, I know who I am and whose I am. I know I'm a man of God and who I belong to. So that allowed me to transition and be the big dog and be the best man I can be today.
Were you really involved in the church?
Not growing up. So only thing we had was a Bible, a Bible on a kitchen. I'm sorry, the living room table. That's it. We didn't grow up in the church. I actually didn't
Mm.
get saved to the age of 21. I got saved in a person who, like, man, you should come to church. You should come to church. I was denying it at first because I was in the streets. I was drinking, I was partying, I was clubbing. I had a lot of hurt too. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of hurt because of a misunderstanding growing up. So um, I just like to oscillate back then until that one day I made a decision. I believe the spirit was talking to me and said, "Hey, come to church." So when my ex girlfriend told my high school sweetheart at the time, told me, like, come to church. The dad went to church. I got saved. My life didn't change overnight, but that was the start of something new.